Look, I get it. You're not a coder, you're not a tech whiz, you just want to get the thing working on your store. And so what do? You type the feature you want into the Shopify App Store and play around with a bunch of apps to get the feature working on your store. But what if I told you that chances are you don't actually need an app for what you're looking for? Shopify apps, at least the ones that run on the front end, slow down your website, cost you a monthly subscription fee to maintain, and can actually reduce your options for customization. What if you could invest a little bit of time or money to build the feature yourself exactly how you want it without having to pay an ongoing fee to maintain it? Well, in this video, that's exactly what we're going to talk about. But first of all, we need to understand what is front end and what is back end. When it comes to Shopify, the front end is everything to do with the customer journey on the actual storefront, from the homepage to the product page to your information pages and your cart functionality. All of this is customizable by editing your theme code, which is easily accessible on any theme by clicking the button next to the Customize button here. The backend is everything outside of that. So I'm talking about anything that extends or automates actions within your Shopify admin, anything that records additional data from users, or integrates with programs outside of your store. This also now includes customer accounts and the final checkout page, which you used to be able to edit within Shopify themes, but now it operates on a completely different system. Basically, how it works on Shopify is anything backend is customized by apps, and anything frontend is customized via the theme. Or at least that's how it should work in theory. The reality, however, is that there are still a bunch of apps on the App Store that invade the land of the theme, enticing you with the idea of a quick win whilst adding unnecessary technical overhead to your store, which can slow down your site, increase your monthly app bill, and actually make your website harder to customize and maintain in the future. So what are some examples of these apps? The most stark example I've come across is an app that does this. It enables a second product image to appear on your product cards when the first image is hovered over. This is an entirely front-end customization that a developer like myself could set up in about half an hour. Instead, merchants are installing third-party pieces of software to do this, which I understand why, but it's total overkill. Most apps that offer front-end customizations, however, aren't as simple as this. For example, apps that provide bundle building functionality, advanced search and filtering on the collection page, cart drawer upsells, and my favorite, page building apps. I actually have one client where almost everything on the store is delivered by an app, including the collection page, the cart drawer, and even their product pages via a page building app. Maybe it made sense to throw a bunch of apps at their storefront when they were just starting out, but now we are slowly unraveling this mess as there were a range of problems with it, including some unforeseen issues with SEO when it came to the collection pages. But you might think, well, Chris, you might be able to edit my code, but how do I customize the feature over time if there's no app interface to work with? Well, Shopify has a great answer for this. It's called the Online Store Editor, or the Customizer as I still like to call it. And guess what? It provides the ability for a developer like myself to edit the user interface, providing you with all the options you need to switch up the feature later. For example, you could install an app to add an upsell to your cart drawer, but you could also just get a developer to build the upsell into your existing cart drawer, as well as setting up a setting for you to swap out the product later. Now, in this particular situation, if you needed, for example, analytics on how much revenue you're making from this particular feature, then yes, that's a backend function and you would need an app for that. So clearly some apps do provide some backend functionality as well as a front-end component, but for anything purely front-end, you don't need an app for that. Another example from that same client I mentioned earlier, they had a special app powering their collection pages that hijacked the existing collection page and rendered the app's own JavaScript rendered version. After the SEO team advised them that this was an SEO issue because there was no server-side rendering, we finally removed the app. The collection page is an example of another one where you still might need to use an app, but only if you need super advanced filtering options or AI-powered search and recommendations. Finally, page builders. Yes, I get why they exist, and I think that they are okay for building landing pages, but I wouldn't, for example, recommend them for building product pages unless you only have a small amount of products on your store. If you have more than 100 products, you'll be stuck copying and pasting changes across multiple product pages, which is what I ended up having to do for this particular client. That being said, with this particular client, we've been slowly moving over to native product pages, starting with our most important products. This makes these pages much easier for us to collaborate on. All right, so now that we've talked about the apps which you might want to move towards avoiding or uninstalling, let's talk about what functions you definitely need an app for. The main one that comes to mind is subscriptions. If you offer any products on subscription, you will need an app to keep track of customer subscriptions, as well as to provide a portal for customers to edit their subscription. Another one is reviews. If you look at your Shopify backend, there's no native review system in Shopify, so you'll need an app for that too. Other examples include wishlist apps, any apps that extend your backend analytics, and or any apps to do with the backend logistics of fulfilling your product. Basically anything that runs purely in your admin dashboard or that you can't achieve within your theme, you'll need to turn to an app. But for everything else, I would definitely consider taking a bit of time, figuring out how to do it yourself, or getting in contact with someone like myself to help build it for you. As always, guys, the link to get in touch is in the description of this video. That's all I'll say on this topic for now. You can always leave a comment below if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.